everybody. My name is Karen Downy, and I'd like to thank you for joining us today at the Unity chat group. And we have got Susan Jarboe and Linda Baker and Loy Williams and Reverend Linda. And again, I welcome you all, and I would just like to open up our chat today with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's always short and simple for me, and it's like the only thing I can change is me. So today, my topic is taken from a deck of tarot cards, and it's called the Archangel Marathon. And the card that I chose is Transformation, and the subtitle is Light and Dark. And you can see the one person reaching for the light and the other person kind of in the shadow. So this is a challenging question, since in truth, both aspects of yourself within us are both light and shade, illumination and shadow, love and hate, peace and anxiety. Living in a dualistic world, you have a dualistic nature, and it serves us well to try to integrate and understand all parts of ourselves. Pushing away one's shadow doesn't work, whether it appears as jealousy, rage, greed, or spite. Instead, you're asked to understand and work through why such feelings arise and where they come from, and realize it is usually because of an absence of love. Our shadow often wants to keep us small, to keep us doing what we know rather than trying something new. It feeds off of old patterns that haven't been worked through, from panic, low self-esteem, to something greater. If you have done the shadow work, the card then asks you to question which you give the most attention to. Transformation happens when we choose the light over the shadow self and turn like a flower to the sun, the greatest energy source of our planet and life force. The image is a reminder to choose light every day, to move forward and reach for sunlight rather than hide ourselves in darkness. Darkness and shadow can play into the ego's hands, playing small, judgment, blame, drama, victim mentality. It takes many forms. However, we are here to shine brightly. We cannot do so from a place of darkness. The sunlight in the picture brings not just illumination to the one who is free, but illuminates and brings warmth to the heavier side of ourselves. The stronger and more powerful energy is the light. It can and will escape the clutches of anything that tries to contain us. What is left behind is but an empty shell. And we learn to look back with compassion at what blocked our way and the lessons we learned from the struggle. In doing this, we transform not just ourselves, but the darkness too. We learn to live with it, but not allow it to control us, to love all parts of ourselves, and to walk the highest path we can, moment to moment, day by day. By doing so, we conquer the battle within and allow our light to win. So that really registered for me when I read it. I could so relate to both the reaching for the light and how that feels when I'm in a place of heart connectedness, whether it's to a person, a situation, a piece of music. Hearing God talk to me, hearing that message of you're okay. You are okay. And I can relate so much to the darkness, the isolation, the grief, the judgment, the blame. It's like, oh my God, I've spent so much of my time in, and especially, I think in younger years. For me, one of my big helps was getting into Al-Anon. Oh my God, 45 years ago or so. And hearing that I was looking and blaming someone else. And if I'm looking or blaming or pointing a finger, and now I really recognize it. If I'm watching, looking at someone else and pointing a finger, it's like, what am I not acknowledging in myself? What is it that's being triggered inside of me that makes me not like that person or whatever? And it's like, oh my God. I mean, it's a really quick, well, you've done that yourself. You've acted self-righteous, you've been judgmental, you've been a know-it-all. All of those things that keep me or kept me in isolation. And so this was just really a good thought in looking. I was kind of raised, taught, whether from the parents, church, or whatever, you have to look good, act good, say the right things, be in the right place, always be appropriate. Well, that really stuffs a lot of stuff. It's like I couldn't be angry. I could never talk about what was really maybe going on. And then it takes a whole lifetime of unlearning all of that junk. So hopefully I've progressed, a little bit. Another sentence that really stood out to me here was that if I'm in that lower vibration, I don't want to try something new. I want to keep things going the way I know. I want to keep driving the same way home, even though I never drive the same way home. I don't really have a routine, so that's kind of already ended. I mean, I would never fall prey to a stalker because I don't ever do the same thing twice. I surprise myself. But there's other things in that wanting to know, oh, what's going to happen next? My big thing right now is like technology, the computer, and something I thought I was done with like 4 years ago. I don't have to deal with the website. I don't have to deal with the business end anymore. I can breathe. And then all of a sudden, in the last like 3 or 4 months, I'm having to take responsibility again of updating, doing the things that make me so uncomfortable because I don't know what I'm doing. And just kind of taking a deep breath and going, okay, I'm not going to cry over it today. like I did maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago. Um, you know, the universe is going to send somebody in to help me, or I'll go down to the college and invest in maybe a class or something that I need to do. But I'm not going to let it consume me. And it's like if I'm going to go forward in this world that we live in today that is full of uncertainty, um, I better be okay with that and not afraid and not blame somebody else because I can't do it or fake it and get sick so I don't have to do whatever I don't want to do. That was always a good one. I can't do that because I don't really feel well or something. So it's like responsibility, being a responsibility so that I can keep reaching for the light and not stay in the dark of isolation. And for me, depression has always been my thorn. And, it's dark, but it's a part of me too. So I can give that person, I'm still standing and I'm much older now than I was the first time with, a hospitalization. So I think I can keep walking and I'll be okay. So, panel, do you have anything to say about this?
I'll tell you, while you were talking about the dark and the light, I had to focus on my own background here because it took me to the caterpillar and the butterfly. And I was thinking about once the caterpillar lets gets out of its cocoon and it becomes what it's supposed to be, what it was meant to be. It becomes that butterfly. And that's you're living in the light. I think that's what that is. And I remember a line from a book one time about butterflies, and I can remember the author. She said a caterpillar was asking a butterfly, "What is a butterfly?" You know, and he says it's what you're meant to become. It connects heaven to earth,
Mm.
and without it, the world would soon have few flowers. Yeah. So I loved it. It was a good subject. Tarot cards are a lot of fun, I'm finding out. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
It's this great card to pull, uh, Karen. It says light and dark. I am doing some, not as much as I'd like to, but I'm doing some shadow work right now. Um, and one thing that I have been, one thing that you mentioned, was the concept of triggers. And I'm beginning to realize, and I get this with help from with church services, with this group, with therapy, is that whenever there's something that I don't like, 9 times out of 10, no, I'll probably say 10 times out of 10, it's something that I don't like about myself. So your this card makes me realize that, and makes me also realize that the dark isn't necessarily negative in a negative sense. It can be negative in a positive sense as well, because what else am I going to know what to look for if I'm not feeling bad about it? And the light helps reveal that to myself. Wow, that's and that is what a great topic. Thank you so much for bringing it up, Karen.
Thank you, Loy.
As you were talking about light and dark, I couldn't help but think of black holes. Um, I really enjoy looking at all of the pictures from the Hubble telescope and reading about uh, astronomy and everything they're discovering. And one of the things about black holes is that light cannot escape a black hole. And so I began thinking about my own black holes. And what I realized is, although you were talking about thinking about other people, For me, it's my self-talk and my own negativity. I am much more positive about other people than I am about myself. And so when I find myself engaging in negative self-talk, I really have to make an effort to stop it, and to remind myself, now, would you say this to your good friend if, and so on. And um, Loy mentioned therapy, and that I think is one of the purposes of my therapy is to help me transform that black hole into something that's more manageable, because it can feel like a real trap. It's like you're in quicksand. And so I like looking at the light. I like positivity. When it happens, it feels so good. Um, but some of us, I think, do have not just the dark side or the shadow side. It's deeper than that. I think some of us have black holes that really need to be tackled in a variety of ways.
Thank you, Susan, for that. And in your sharing that, that really reminded me of the depression and that dark hole and the spiral. It's like it just takes that one, thing to go down. And I'm just I hate to even say I'm realizing, because I mean every day is a new day, every minute is a new thought, a new emotion or whatever. But it's like my depression is part of my joy and my joy is part of my depression. And I wouldn't know one kind of without the other. And where many years ago it made me so afraid, so very afraid that some part of me would hurt myself because it was so dark and so scary. And then the light in that, like you talked about, the light is always the dark and the dark is always the light. It's all one of the same God, universe, whatever. I wouldn't, if it hadn't have been for all of those times and hospitalizations, and I've had three majors, and they're not fun. However, I wouldn't know how to talk to somebody else that's in the middle of that dark and to sit with it, because I know, back in the day when it happened to me, and it was a long time ago, people kind of push that away, just pray a little bit. Well, that was definitely something I didn't want to do, because if I was closer to God, I wouldn't be feeling like this. So there was, it's like I had to go through every dark to go, you know what? It's also part of the gold. So this picture, it's like, is something else. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, thank you. Reverend Linda, what can you share with us?
Well, you've all done such a great job of covering this topic, and thank you for sharing from the heart some of the deeper stuff. I too have been a creature of darkness. I was very comfortable there. I never wanted anybody to see me or to know me. Um, I absolutely wanted to just fade away. I felt very safe there. I felt very comfortable there, and the light scared me. And now it's more the opposite. I don't care who knows me or looks at me or whatever. And I live my life in the light, but still I'm comfortable in the darkness. I can I can go into that darkness and find rest and quiet and stillness and be, a creature of light. They do counterbalance each other. There's a saying in recovery circles, and I think it bleeds over to everywhere, that to heal it, you have to reveal it. And for me, that's what bringing it into the light is that I'm ready to have this healed. I'm ready to have this shown. But there have been things that over my lifetime, I've needed to make myself ready to let it be shown, to let it be healed. And I think that's a sacred process as well. I don't think it's good or bad. I think it's a part of becoming. We were talking, Linda, about the caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That caterpillar's body is totally ripped apart and it's turned into goop before it becomes a butterfly. And there is a sacred time of just turning to goop before you get the strength to step out into the light, into that transformation. I think every section is sacred, and that when we start blaming or wallowing or hiding, whatever stage we're in, that's when we corrupt the sacred process of becoming, and we're on the road to that. So thank you. I loved your card, and thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Reverend Linda. Does anybody else have a final comment on transformation? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, panel. Thank you, everybody that's out there watching this. And if you would like to join us, I'm sure there's links after we close today. And Reverend Linda's going, yes, that you can tap in. You can either call the church or you can, I'm sure, tap on the link and you'll get connected really quick. Please think about joining us. It's not like it's a lifelong commitment. You can come in for a session and we really do have a good time. This is great. And again, thank you for tuning in today. Come and join us again. And whatever I have forgotten to say is gone with the wind. So goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.